Hey, I'm here to talk about the hierarchy of competence. Basically, during my stages of learning anything in life, and now obviously trading, and you might be going through this with your whatever it may be. So, what you need to learn how to understand is if I, particularly if I kind of know what I expect in the journey, then the journey is a little bit easier. If it gets rocky, I go, maybe I'm just right around the corner of being successful. And I just want to go through all these little stages right here of, you just being very competent at trading or competent at your workplace or competent with your loved one. But yeah, they're basically four stages. If you look at the bottom, and obviously you're trying to work yourself up. So right here from this is called unconscious incompetence. This is where the individual does not understand or know how to do something and does not necessarily recognize the deficit of it all. They deny the usefulness of a skill. They might still take trading as a gambling. They're not really getting to technical analysis. And they might just be getting lucky, but the luck's not going to be there all the time. Then maybe you're going to up your size, and then based on luck and size, it's not going to work out well. And then you still don't have the skill of when to call it quits and maybe find yourself bag holding. Bag holding is when you're holding a stock a little too long. Personally, if you're maybe possibly shorting, you might want to hold it overnight. But if you're longing, definitely with these stocks, they're called momentum stocks for a reason. The momentum happens today. Sometimes maybe in a 2 hour period. I particularly only trade in 2 hours of the day. I do trade in other hours if I see a retrend and have some alerts set at key areas that I think the stock will go back. So that's pretty much where you should be going at. But the length of time of this individual spends in that stage, the unconscious competence, is basically based on them. That are they do they have the strength or stimulus to learn? If they don't have the stimulus to learn, some people when they get slapped down, they don't want to learn anything. They call it quits. There's always a learning curve. I should have brought that drawing up, but the learning curve is like this when you learn something. Somebody might be telling you the right thing, and you think you're getting actually, for a better or less word, dumber. And then eventually, when you come out and you put all this to practice, you're going to be higher than when you started. So you're going to start here, you're going to finish here, but there's a big trough here, and that's a big learning stage. You first of all have to recognize that you need more information. And then when you start putting that information together, and then you can start reaching higher heights because you took this new information, processed it. I didn't say it went up. You processed it, and then it went down and then up to the top, which is basically you walked in the room like this, and then you walked out of the room like this. That kind of tells me my journey as well. I think it was October 22, and I think we are in August 24. I've gone through a lot of stimulus of learning. And basically, by me putting myself, not trusting anyone, or basically not trusting any system until I saw it work. If you hear people talking about back testing, that is a very key, crucial thing that once I back tested, I saw a lot more stuff forward. I teach students all the time that you should fact check me. I fact check the people that tell me stuff, and they're yes, thank you, and then as soon as they get off the phone or maybe a Zoom call, I go double, triple, quadruple check because eventually this is your source of freedom. If you blow your capital a little too much too early, and then maybe you're skittish when you actually have the information that's proper. So the biggest thing right now is to be, again, you could paper trade. I particularly tell people that one share trade. If you're under the PDT rule, and the PDT rule is if you have less than 25,000, then you get 3 trades a week. And I think that's actually a good rule. I didn't like it at first. I made some very aggressive trades and eventually got out of the PDT rule. I gave myself $5,000 to learn this process. I gave that 5,000 as a teacher, and then I said, okay, well now here's 5,000, and I took it and I worked it up to a very nice number. Actually, I have a big chunk of that money now in another account, just getting me 5%. And you go, well, if you can trade 10, 20, 30% every day, Why are you putting it in 5%? Well, you shouldn't put your money at risk every day as well. Part of you putting it at risk every day, you're kind of gambling all the time. So when I got bits and pieces, when I'm going through my journey as well, I heard people pulling out money. So when I get to a certain number, I pull out and I don't put it back in until I earn that price again. So I try to go from 30 to 40. I start with 30, and if I can earn 10, I pull out that 10 and start again with 30. So that's, I think, a decent enough amount. And then that's when my goal is met, I can pull it out and start over again. So I'm constantly pulling back a little bit. So you can technically say I'm playing with house money, which is very nice, but I still don't want to go crazy. I think just nice, consistent hits work better for me. Uh, every once in a while, you'll talk to a very good trader. I've watched enough YouTube interviews of other traders because I'm always trying to learn, always in a stimulus of learning to get out of these certain stages and try to reach the top. Some of them just say, hey, they held a stock longer and they got lucky. But that lucky, that's a big chunk. I take little hits all the time on the stages of the stock going up. And if it goes up and I miss a couple of those stages, it didn't matter. I made the trade, I know. If it continued to run, good for that. We particularly had a trade like that on Friday. I said, hey, if this runs again, don't feel bad. And he goes, well, it ran another 60 cents. I said, you made the perfect 80-cent trade. There's no reason to have to get every stage of that stock. And I said, and the market could have just said no to that stock. And maybe you would only walked away with 40 cents. Maybe if you're stubborn, it went to zero. And you could have been very stubborn and went to negative 40 or negative 80 cents per share. Or you could still be holding the stock from March. So when I take my little levels of gain, I'm very happy. And if I feel like it does go again, I will get in again with a new amount. I don't hold as long, but I'm happy. I'm the way I trade. I just take the sections that I know, and I'm very, very, very pleased with that. But anyway, again, wrong intuition. Maybe you're gambling still. You're not putting enough work. Did you watch all the videos of your mentor? Have you sought a successful mentor that you've actually saw trade? Some people don't trade and they talk and they make really good YouTube videos, but I personally have never seen them trade. So I don't like to be a flash in the pan or anything like that. But the trick is you should trust somebody that actually trades. And also their strategy should work backwards, meaning if you test their strategy yesterday on the same maybe stock that you might have lost, you could have easily sat there and did two things. You could have said, hey, it worked. Hey, it didn't work. Why am I trusting this person with my freedom that I'm looking for, whether it be financial, mine's location, and is also with your profits that you would share with your family. All right, so I'm going to go to the next one right here. You have conscious incompetence. So maybe you're just having some wrong analysis. So right here on this description right here, I'm just going to read what I know, and then we're going to go have a discussion about it. Though the individual does not understand or how to do something, they recognize the deficit again, as well as the value of a new skill to address the deficit. The making of mistakes can be an integral part in the learning process at this stage. So right here, this is where you're actually making mistakes, but you're actually trying out the strategy fully. And obviously, hopefully you've back tested it, but when you're making mistakes, those are good things. I used to think that was a bad thing, and I don't like losing. I go through maybe every 2 months, I tell myself I want to lose some money today. And I know that's silly. It's just I don't gain as much as I could gain because I'm really not willing to risk some money, like bigger chunks of money. And for me to maybe jump at that next level, I need to go ahead and say, I'm willing to lose this to get twice of that. And that's the stage I think I still need to do, even though I'm very good. I just go, I don't need all the money in the world. I just need to wake up, take my little chunk of the market out, and live my day. I don't want to sit here 8 hours. I fine-tuned 2 hours of my day that I properly know very well how the stock reacts. I can pretty much tell you every section of the day, of the whole day, revolving back to the next day of what a chart should look like and what do those times actually mean. who's actually in the room trading in the market, and those help you better understand what's going on. So if you don't even know that process, that's a very good lesson to take. But basically, you're trying out the new information. You might be winning and losing because maybe you're just trying to get that process down. So maybe in this time you're still, like I said, take a one share trade. That was like the best I heard from Bryce Toohey. I'll give a shout out to him. 10 share trade, 100 share trade. Don't be doing 1,000 share trade when you don't know what's going on. That's pure risk. And then if you bag hold, that's still not knowing what's going on. You don't know when to cut your losses quicker. And now it comes so crazy that you've lost your capital. And then maybe in a couple months you have your knowledge, but you don't have the money to make more money. So definitely you would sit there and just say, hey, trade a little less, but still trade decently often. But the problem with most people that paper trade, they don't take it serious. So I always tell people, even if you take a lesson from me, if you don't know what's going on, paper trade for 3 months. I said, or 100 share trade or 10 share trade, whatever you can afford, and then paper trade the other times. But when you paper trade, try to put $1,000 or 5,000 if that's what you would fund your account with, and just slowly sit there and just go, did I lose that 5,000? Did I make another 5,000? Let's say you made another 5,000. Maybe go one more month and say, okay, I apparently have my system down. I read it very well. The capital can be now real losses and real gains if you are at least making paper gains. If you're making, if you're just getting lucky on a paper or maybe bad on a real money, and then you go, okay, my paper is looking good, and then you kind of, I don't know, push all your chips in, you're not going to be doing very well because you're basically risking all. And again, you better know when to get out. And silly quick story again, we went to a musical. My wife saw a little light in the corner smoking up, and it's just a lot of dust in a theater. And I said, see that door over there? That's where I'm getting out. And then we looked at another door, and there was like, maybe you're going to fight 2,000 people to get out of the door. But at the end of the day, if something, maybe a stock's going down, maybe if that lamp started a little fire, I'm getting out to the shortest, quickest system to get out of here with less battle or mental battle to get out the other place. So that's what you're really trying to do. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Hopefully this is when you're paper trading, putting in some money, and also understanding the strategy you have or that you learned from a teacher, or you have actually watched every strategy from your teacher, wrote it all down, back tested it, and now you're actually testing it forward with money. And nobody's telling you not to just jump in with money. We're just saying, if you don't know, don't play. And when you know, play. And you'll have that capital that we were talking about, and you'll have intelligence. And now you have money with intelligence, and that's how those rich grow richer. And you growing your account. So here we go. The third one is basically conscious competence. This is the individual that understands or knows how to do something. It may be broken down into steps. I have certain steps. I actually have 4 steps of how to set up a trade, and I have 4 steps of what has to happen before I enter a trade. If that doesn't make any sense, basically I have rules on a movement, and then I have these 4 rules at the time it actually breaks that, has to have all 4 criteria. And if it doesn't, then I am barely stacking any competence or, just knowledge. You're going, okay, I see one thing. I see 4 things, or it doesn't go for me. I used to trade one, and sometimes you can get all hyped up over one candle. There's a gentleman in our room that gets hyped up. He had a great trade the other day, but maybe he has a lot of bad trades. So you equal out a 50-50 ratio. Well, if he is really making 2 to 1 and he's putting that thought process to it, making 2 to 1 loss, that's good. But, more than likely, maybe he's making 2, maybe he's losing 2, and then it's just a 50-50 and he's breaking even. That would be actually good. But now let's say he's making 1, losing 2. So every actually time he trades 2, he's losing a half a trade or a full gain. So it would actually still be going down, slowly bleeding out your account. So that's a very important thing to learn. Let me go ahead and finish that. But the skill set right here, the skill set or knowledge requires concentration. And if it is broken, they lapse in back into incompetence. So every morning, I think I did two this past week. If you want to hear, on Wednesday and Friday, I woke up just at the call. I did that actually on purpose so I could actually show you my method of how breaking down a chart. If I just woke up, or maybe I woke up an hour before, I'm going to go, this is what I still analyze, even if the stock is just teeing off right in front of me. Because if it's teeing off, it's already going up. I could be getting the down slot when I jump in, which you might have done. And particularly, I get excited when I wake up and five stocks are going down. I set alerts at key lower levels that it would have to re-break to go up. And I'm a much happier camper because I'm not eating that downtrend unless I was shorting. All right. So definitely here, this is where you're definitely trying to, consciously put all that back testing and all that stuff that you might be denying. And I denied it for a little bit. And then you proceed forward. And that's the biggest thing you can do is keep proceeding forward. This is basically the crawl stage in your life, the unconscious competence. And this is when you're trying to consciously walk, but you still stumble. And now conscious competent, you're walking, but you're still kind of moving left and right. And eventually the top is unconscious competence. You're just walking fine. And now you're actually running or trading better and making good gains with your strategy. So let's go ahead and go discuss the very last one, unconscious competence. Now this one is the individual that has had practice with a skill and it has become second nature. I draw my lines, but yes, I do take my indicators off that I particularly like. I just see it now. And when I talk to another good trader, not name dropping, but he's a very good trader, and I asked him a technical analysis, and he goes, no, I just see it. And I go, you just see this last 15-cent move. And now I get it totally, but then I got it before that too. But when I asked him, he just said, yeah, that's all it could go. And I was like, well, is he hiding secrets from me? Is he hiding secrets from his followers? And he goes, I've just seen it for 20 years. And I was sitting there going, well, again, 20 years experience, 10 years experience, maybe 5, and maybe still a newbie and a 1. So, you have to also look at that. Am I going for the 100-mile-per-hour serve and I keep hitting it in the net because I don't know how to do it? And that would be a tennis reference. Sorry about that. But otherwise, I should be gaining knowledge during this time to get to this level, slowly adding money and seeing results after back testing. Here, I'm actually putting it to motion. And here, you're almost on auto drive. Second nature. This also is where I'm at, ability to teach others because I was here. But I understood I was here. I was here. I understood I was there. I was here. I knew I was there. And here, I'm actually just reading that I'm here. A big thing that helped me a lot as well is watching your opponents when I particularly teach tennis, play tennis at a certain level. That if you watch your opponents, you could figure out their little indiscretions. And then I did that in trading. I said, who am I really competing against? Looking at shorting helped my longing. I actually think if I went to a shorting conference, I'd probably be more beneficial to them now because of what I see. So the biggest thing is all you want to do is you want to basically say, understand your levels of where you're at. Know that you can gain up a level, but if you really heard the backstory of this, it is learning, putting into practice. Learning, putting into practice, getting knocked down a little bit, but still pushing forward. This freedom's coming. And some people quit first time they look at something. And some people want to quit even when the struggle's getting hard. And then even when they get it right, they still have a bad day that makes them question it. But eventually there's this day at the top of your mountain the top of your knowledge, and the top of the world, because you and your family are going to live a different life. I'm currently in Cabo. We just take off a couple days, a little bit more now. I still work. My wife still works. And we're just slowly trying to getting into a new lifestyle. And for you, this is right around the corner. If you just sit there and put in the work, find the right mentor, constantly look at what they do, constantly chart, and you can move forward in life with a very simple process of just doing very nice, consistent trades and getting that freedom in your life. So I hope this helped out. I was just trying to point this out. I had one of my students and one of my helpers. He's really, really, really good. And basically, I ask him for my flaws. And you think that's silly. You go, oh, you're at the top. Yeah, sometimes you have to stay at the top. You have to have that real friend tells you, hey, you're getting cocky, or hey, you're doing this. And I'm not cocky at all. All I care about is you getting better. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much.